On a cold, wet January day in 1835, an unemployed house painter named Richard Lawrence hid behind a pillar at the entrance to the Capitol Rotunda. He awaited the arrival of an important Capitol visitor, President Andrew Jackson, who was attending a congressional funeral. As the president approached, Lawrence stepped forward, raised a Derringer single-shot pistol, took careful aim at Jackson's heart, and fired. The cap exploded, noise and smoke filled the air, but the powder failed to ignite. The aging president was in ill health, forced to lean on a colleague and use a cane, but he remained defiant. As Lawrence pulled a second pistol and again took aim, Jackson charged his assailant with cane held high. Lawrence pulled the trigger, again misfired. Quickly, bystanders tackled the would-be assassin to the floor while the president was hauled away. Jackson was saved from the first known attempt to assassinate a U.S. president. This is Top 10 Failed Assassination Attempts, a presentation by Hasan Al-Hakeem. On October 14th of 1912, former saloon-keeper John Fleming Schrank attempted an assassination on former U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt while he was campaigning for the presidency in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Schrank's bullet lodged in Roosevelt's chest after penetrating Roosevelt's steel eyeglass case and passing through a thick 50-page single-folded copy of the speech titled "Progressive Cause Greater Than Any Individual," which he was carrying in his jacket. Schrank was immediately disarmed by Czech immigrant Frank Bukowski and captured. He might have been lynched had Roosevelt not shouted for Schrank to remain unharmed. Roosevelt assured the crowd he was all right. As an experienced hunter and anatomist, Roosevelt correctly concluded that since he was not coughing any blood, the bullet had not reached his lung. He declined suggestions to go to the hospital immediately. Instead, he delivered his scheduled speech. His opening comments to the gathering crowd were, "Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know whether you fully understand that I have just been shot, but it takes more than that to kill a bull moose." Spoken like a true badass. November 19th of 1928, President-elect Hoover embarked on a 10-nation goodwill tour of Central and South America. While crossing the Andes Mountains from Chile, an assassination plot by Argentine anarchists was thwarted. The group was led by Severino di Giovanni, who planned to blow up his train as it crossed the Argentine Central Plain. The plotters had an itinerary, but the bomber was arrested before he could place the explosives on the rails. Hoover professed unconcern, tearing off the front page of a newspaper that revealed the plot and explaining, "It's just as well that Lou shouldn't see it," referring to his wife. His complimentary remarks on Argentina were well received in both the host and in the press. September 5th, 1975. On the northern grounds of the California state capitol, Lynette Fromm, a follower of Charles Manson, drew a Colt M1911 .45 caliber pistol on Ford when he reached to shake her hand in a crowd. She had 4 cartridges in the pistol's magazine, but none in the firing chamber, and as a result, the gun did not fire. She was quickly restrained by the Secret Service agent Larry Boondroff. Fromm was sentenced to life in prison. Sucks. On February 15th of 1933, 17 days before Franklin D. Roosevelt's first presidential inauguration, Giuseppe Zangara fired 5 shots at Roosevelt in Miami, Florida. Zangara's shots missed the president-elect, but Zangara did mortally wound Chicago Mayor Anton Semak and injure 4 other people. Zangara pleaded guilty to the murder of Semak and was executed in the electric chair on March 20th of 1933. It had never been conclusively determined who was Zangara's target, and most assumed at first that he had been shooting at the president-elect. September 12, 1994, Frank Eugene Corder flew a stolen single-engine Cessna 150 onto the White House lawn and crashed into a tree. Corder, a truck driver from Maryland who reportedly had alcohol problems, allegedly tried to hit the White House. He was killed in the crash and was the only fatality. The president and his family were not in the residence at the time. May 10, 2005, while President Bush was giving a speech in the Freedom Square of Georgia, Vladimir Aryutanian threw a live Soviet-made RGD-5 hand grenade toward the podium. The grenade had its pin pulled, but did not explode because a red tartan handkerchief was wrapped lightly around it, preventing the safety lever from detaching. After escaping that day, Aryutanian was arrested in July of 2005. During his arrest, he killed an Interior Ministry agent. He was convicted in January of 2006 and given a life sentence. Okay, now the rest of these assassination attempts will all be about Fidel Castro, who was the man who survived 638 assassination attempts, which is a world record, according to CIA Director Richard Helms. So yeah, it's quite amazing. Impressive. I'm inspired. Just a year after Castro seized power, the agency spiked the cigars with a botulinum toxin strong enough to kill anybody who put one in their mouth. The cigars were delivered to an unidentified person in 1961, according to the subcommittee, but it's unclear what happened to them after that. Needless to say, they were never chewed by Castro. I love this one. Alright. The exotic seashell. Undeterred, the CIA tried an even more elaborate plan in 1963. Intelligence officials thought they could use Castro's love of scuba diving to topple him. They planned to hide explosives inside a large seashell and paint it with exotic colors to lure the attention of the ocean-loving communist. The plan was discarded too impractical. Where there is love, there is death. Marita Lorenz told Vanity Fair in 1933 that she was Castro's lover who had been assigned a task by the CIA to assassinate the Cuban leader. She was given 2 botulism toxin pills to drop in Castro's drink, so her story goes. Just one would kill him in 30 seconds, but she got cold feet. After she confessed this to Castro, he leaned over, pulled out his .45 caliber pistol and handed it to her, saying, "You can't kill me. Nobody can kill me," while chewing on a cigar. Fucking badass. While these were only a couple of the assassination attempts attempted on Castro's life, there were at least 635 more attempts that, while some of them may have come close, they were never able to finish the job, as Fidel Castro died on November 25th of 2016 due to natural causes. A death best fit for a Marvel legend. We're now nearing the end of the presentation, but I'd like to stress one important question that I was asked by Mr. Fadley. The question is, why is violence most present in Americans? Well, it is very hard to answer this question in a short sentence. I would say that the violence that is seen in America is different from other countries in the way that it is built into the heritage of Americans throughout the history of the country. All of these assassinations could not have taken place if any of the assassins didn't deem themselves as the main character that is set to save the day. But that is how America as a country views itself. That is the American ideology. Thank you for watching.